So it's late out. You've had a long day. You sit down at your TV, you push the power button, but nothing happens. Looks like it's time for a new purchase. Today we're going to take a look at the Plasma TV and examine how you can enhance your lifestyle with some viewing pleasure. I'm Rory Mackay. You're watching Tech Bits on CIB24.com. Roughly 20 years ago, buying a TV was simple. The CRT, or cathode ray tube, came in a variety of shapes and sizes. They were bulky, heavy, and typically all of them had similar specs. It's only recently, within the past 10 years or so, that we've started to see the introduction of the flat screen really take shape. They've made them cheaper and more affordable for the end user, so they've developed a lot more technology and better ways to produce them. There's a lot more options available. One of the early additions to the flat screen family that is still going strong today is the Plasma TV. Plasma TVs are comprised of two panels of glass. They contain little chambers of inert gases, and these are called cells. Now, these cells emit light in different colors when electricity is applied across them. These cells are also arranged in groups of 3, and they form the pixel. Now, each cell in the pixel represents one of the primary colors when the electricity goes through it, so they basically fire on and off and create the appropriate color to form the image on your screen within the pixel. Plasma TVs offer excellent image quality, but it's at the cost of a high energy consumption. There are certain brands that have been developed that kind of lower the energy costs, and there are quite a few different ENERGY STAR compliant models that kind of hedge against this effect. Plasmas also offer excellent contrast ratio, which is very important. Contrast ratio is basically the difference between the brightest and the darkest parts of the image. In essence, the higher the contrast ratio, the better the image. Now, plasmas typically are around 5 million to 1. However, you need to be careful when you're examining these numbers or this data, because there is no enforced industry standard. Most of the manufacturers follow an ANSI standard, but you should make sure that most of the companies are in line, because otherwise it's just a long shot. Plasma TVs are also excellent because they offer a wider viewing angle, meaning that you can sit almost anywhere in the room and you can still watch it. Another great feature is that there's less motion blur. This is basically when you have an image that breaks up on the screen right before your very eyes. The faster refresh rates and response times on the plasmas enhance the performance of the TV when there is a lot of motion moving right across the screen. Plasmas are a great selection and a nice addition to any room or wall or desk. They take up very little space, but there are some disadvantages to consider before purchasing. Because of the technology involved in the plasma, there's a possibility of what is referred to as screen burn. And what this means is you can't leave the stagnant image or a stagnant image on the screen for an extended period of time, or it leaves sort of a residual that you will see during other content when you're watching different shows, particularly with white backgrounds and such. Now, luckily, there have been advancements in the technology that reduce the occurrence of this, and also there's procedures that the manufacturers have built into the TV that you can do if a burnout has happened. It is generally not an issue if you're watching movies or programs that are constantly changing. It's really only an issue when you're gaming or you leave something on the screen for a very long time. Perhaps one of those log-burning fireplace programs, or certain things like if you hook your computer up to it. Plasmas also use more power than the average flat panel, or many of the other flat panels in general. They run a lot hotter, and this can be an issue in smaller spaces. They're also a bit heavier than other flat screens. Some of them can also weigh up to 80 pounds. Plasma TVs offer an excellent picture for a minimal price. They have a great contrast ratio, and they are relatively sleek and sexy. Many manufacturers offer them as a great option for your viewing pleasure. If you choose a plasma for your home theater, you won't be disappointed. Just make sure you remember to bring your popcorn, because you won't want to take your eyes off that screen. I'm Rory Mackay, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.